Hey guys, what's up? I just want to say that I already filmed this video, but I really didn't like the way I filmed it, or like the lighting and stuff. I low-key looked yellow. Maybe it was the yellow shirt. I'm not really sure. But this is round 2 of me filming, and I'm hoping this turns out a lot better. Anyways, if this is your first time watching my videos, thank you so much for clicking on my video and looking at my face. It means the world to me. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for returning to this channel and giving me some love, because I am sending it back to you. If you have been following me for a while, then you would know that I recently got back from this 4-week European trip with one of my best friends from elementary school. We've been wanting to do a trip like this for so long, I can't even tell you. So being in Paris, we were just like living our dreams low-key. I know a lot of people for 2020 want to travel more, want to experience more life, I guess, in general, like want to live in the moment. So I wanted to show you guys these 5 tips. It's honestly like a lot easier than most people think to travel. It can be done like super cheap if you just plan ahead for it. If you guys aren't subscribed, please subscribe down below, because I will be doing more travel videos like this in the future. I don't want to babble a ton because I tend to do that if I don't stop myself. With that being said, let's hop right into the video. So number 1, to kick off our 5 tips, is to do your research on flights and other forms of travel. So that could include like buses and trains. Favorite websites to search for flights would be like Google Flights. That's like my all-time favorite one. I always find the cheapest ones on there. Also, Student Universe is really great if you are still in college. I think they like provide cheaper flights if you are a student. I think you just need to give them like your college email, and like that pretty much verifies you. Also, Skyscanner is one of my favorites as well. If you are super flexible with what month you can travel or where you want to go, you can legit click on your destination everywhere and it will show you the cheapest place to travel to depending on what date you pick. Or you could choose, let's say, a certain destination and just put like cheapest month, and it'll give you like the cheapest time to go there. Go Euro is a website I've used in the past when I was studying abroad. I think Go Euro is now named like Omio or Amio or something, like they changed the name of it. But that is a really great website because it gives you the price by bus, train, and plane all side by side, so you could like really like pick and choose like what's the best way to like go from your destination. Be flexible with your travel options. You don't have to take flights every single time, and it honestly like saves you a lot of time like overall, because you don't have to go to the airport and like check your bags or like go through security, you know, all that jazz. Number 2 on our list is to avoid hotels as much as you can, and then instead go for hostels or Airbnbs. I very rarely stay at hotels. I think the only time I would really stay at a hotel is if I was traveling to a country that was cheaper overall, like maybe like Thailand or Indonesia. But overall, like especially if I'm traveling through Europe, I really only stay in hostels. They're usually a lot nicer than people think. A lot of them have clean showers, they have washer and dryers, kitchens to make your meals. I really haven't had any problems in hostels. I think the worst experience I've ever had was staying in this like 10-bedroom dorm, and then one person was snoring so insanely loud, I was like driving myself crazy that I couldn't go to bed. That was like probably the worst experience, but I've never had like anything stolen or anything like that at a hostel. They're usually pretty chill. And if you're a female traveling by yourself and you're a bit more sketch about that, they do have all female hostels. Looking for hostels, one of my biggest things I do is like look for ones that have free breakfast. That's definitely not like a deal breaker for me. I do stay at a hostel if it doesn't provide free breakfast. It's just kind of like, you know, an extra bonus for me. One thing that is a deal breaker is free Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is so essential to me. Also, washing machines are a huge plus. If you're traveling from country to country, honey, you want some clean clothes. Towels that are included are also a huge bonus, especially if you're not bringing your own towel with you. I did bring like a small travel towel with me just because I wanted to avoid all the towel rental charges. They're usually around like 2 or 3 euros. The friend that I traveled with didn't bring his own towel, so anytime we stayed at a hostel and they gave us a free towel, he was so stoked on it. Kitchens, like I mentioned earlier, are super convenient to have, just so if you wanted to avoid eating at a restaurant, you could just cook your meal at the hostel, save a lot of money. And then another one is a close proximity to public transportation, either that be the metro or a bus stop or something, just because public transportation is generally really cheap. Basically everything that I mentioned for hostels applies for Airbnb. So number 3 on this list, if you're really flexible with where you want to go and you want to make it as cheap as possible, I'd say choose a country that is cheaper overall. It does lower the cost of the food you're spending there, the excursions you're you're doing. Going to an overall cheaper country will save you so much money. Some overall cheaper countries, let's say throughout Asia, would be like Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, Cambodia, and then if you wanted to travel more through the Americas, which is something that I definitely want to do next, Mexico, Colombia, Argentina, Guatemala. Definitely do your research on the countries, make sure it's safe. These are countries I definitely want to hit eventually in my lifetime. If you want to do a big trip soon, I'd say make these your destination. Number 4 is honestly just revolved around being organized. So for this one, I'd say budget the food you're going to be like eating every single day, the types of excursions you want to do depending on the country you're in. If you're going out, I'd say include like bar covers, if you plan on doing any pub crawls. I know that's like a bit more hard to plan, but like kind of just like a general like estimate of how much you think you'd be spending. Also souvenirs. This definitely depends on the person. I'm not a big souvenir person, so it is super hard to budget. I really wish I could provide you guys with some sort of example, but it does depend on what country you're going to. It really took me maybe a few days to plan it out. I could do a whole different video on how to budget. I cannot talk about it in this video because I would have to go in so much more detail. The reason I say to plan ahead for this is because if you like don't like budget accordingly before you leave for your trip, you may end up spending a lot more money than you expect. You could end up like using your debit card to pull out cash and like dealing with foreign transaction fees and end up spending more. Budget and plan it all out. Trust me, it'll be like a lot less stressful too. Number 5 is to fly only with a carry-on and a personal item. I wouldn't say this saves you a ton of money, but the reason why I wanted to include it is because not only does it like take away a lot of stress of carrying a ton of things with you. Traveling with a small carry-on suitcase would prevent you from getting all these checked baggage fees. Also, like one of the best things I did to save money was I bought like a handheld like luggage scale. I think I bought one for like $5 at TJ Maxx or something, and I just put it in my suitcase and brought it with us like all throughout Europe. We like bought a few clothing items when we were there, so we used this luggage scale to like weigh our suitcase anytime we were like leaving a country, just to make sure our luggage kind of like fit all the restrictions an airline had. Now I know I said I had 5 tips, but like low-key I have 7, but I wanted to say 5 because it just sounds better, so I'm calling these bonus tips. Hope that works. For number 6, I'd say to purchase a SIM card when you arrive in the country you were traveling to. Only reason I say that is because when you purchase like a SIM card like on Amazon, or if you just like purchase like data at your carrier here in the United States, it's just like so expensive that way. So purchasing a SIM card in Europe itself is just like way cheaper. This also only applies if you actually plan to use your phone without using Wi-Fi. I went the entire 4 weeks in Europe, me and my friend just using Wi-Fi. Most airports have Wi-Fi nowadays. You can easily just like look up the directions to your hostel on your phone at the airport, screenshot them, and then just use that to get to your hostel. Once you arrive in your hostel, there's more Wi-Fi there, and you could just use that to download a Google map and then use that to get around through a city. So yeah, we basically lived off Wi-Fi and it worked super well. Also, another tip I have is if you plan on traveling a lot these next few years, it could be super beneficial to look into getting a credit card that has travel benefits. I know this really only applies if you're a certain age, but it could be really nice because it not only helps build your credit, but if you're spending money like you normally would, you're getting all these like travel bonuses that'll like help you save money for your next trip. For me, I personally have the Chase Freedom Unlimited card. I've used my card for I think 3 months maybe, and I've already like accumulated enough points to get me like $370 off my next flight, which is like super amazing. That could be an entire round trip flight depending on where I'm going. I've also heard the Chase Sapphire Reserve is really good because it has no foreign transaction fees. Also, Capital One Venture card I heard could be really great as well. I don't know much about it since I use Chase myself personally. I don't want to go too deep into credit cards because I am not a professional with that kind of stuff, but I think getting a credit card with travel rewards can be super awesome and beneficial. So look into that if you're at that age and looking to get a new credit card anyways. All right guys, and that is pretty much it. Oh yeah. If you stuck around for this entire video, thank you so much. It means the world to me. If you have any questions that I did not address in this video, make sure to comment them down below and I'd be happy to answer them. If I forgot anything at all, which is highly probable because I'm the most forgetful person I know, I will include everything in the description, the tips I've talked about, and any other details that I may want to give you. If you want to see a video on how I packed 4 weeks of traveling into one little carry-on, make sure to comment that down below. I'd love to film it. All right guys, that's that's pretty much it. Thanks again for watching. Love you a ton, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!